Hello and welcome back to the Know-It-Alls Talk Ball. We're in the same clothes again, and we have got a great episode.
Because we
here.
already said in the last video.
We just stink.
We stink.
But today we have our official Team of the Year, the be-all and end-all of Team of the Years. No other Team of the Year matters. The one that FIFA brought out doesn't matter. This one matters.
No, this is the only legit one that you are gonna ever see throughout the whole selection process, and it's because it's completely unbiased, unlike the FIFA one or the FIFA X Pro one that the players vote. But they vote for Dani Alves. They don't know anything.
Dani Alves, he's got a transfer coming up to Prison FC. But let's get right into it. Should we start at the back?
Let's start at the back. And formation, right? You always go 4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Yeah, it's a Team of the Year. You have to go 4-3-3. Let's start with your keeper. So who do you have, your Team of the Year goalkeeper?
I have gone with Courtois.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah. I actually tried to find someone else because I think Courtois was the obvious choice.
Yeah.
And I looked at the stats of a few goalkeepers. Manuel Neuer, Alisson were my two other ones that I was like, I remember they had pretty decent years. But Courtois, in terms of the big save percentage, was head and shoulders above. So he was 81% save percentage in both the Champions League and La Liga last year. And I think Alisson was at 75. So you can see the golfing class between his season last year and other goalkeepers.
And I think the big difference is that for you to win man of a match at a Champions League final is ridiculously difficult. And to do it as the goalkeeper, he was so good. Madrid probably deserved nothing out of that game, and they come out with their 14th Champions League.
Yeah, and the game against Chelsea as well. He
was huge as well against his old club. And at the World Cup, Belgium, awful showing, but I think it had more to do with their lack of goals at the front rather than their poor defense. Lukaku couldn't score. They couldn't find a goal anywhere. I just think it was pretty nailed on just because he was so good for won La Liga, won the Champions League man of a match, second most clean sheets in La Liga, the high save percentage. It was a shoe-in.
It was a shoe-in, exactly, and I think we've got a couple of those in this in this Team of the Year. And let's go to right back. Who have you got?
So I've also, in my opinion, have a shoe-in, and it's Hakimi. I've gone for Achraf Hakimi.
It's exactly what I've gone for.
It's hard not to, right? He was so big for PSG last year. He was huge for Morocco at the World Cup, which I think the World Cup is going to have quite a lot to sort of...
Every World Cup, the Team of the Year is going to be
exactly. It's going to be influenced, and he was... We talked about it during that time. Only one assist at the World Cup, but I think that doesn't really show how immense he was in every single game for
how
Morocco.
Good he was in transition. Just incredible.
12 goal involvements as well from right wing back. It is pretty ridiculous.
I think the last few years, because he was at Dortmund for a few years, and then you could always see that he was going to be one of the best, if not the best, right back in the world. And now he's really announced himself, I think, this past season, this past year, as the best right back in the world, undisputed. It's a very sweeping statement to say when you've got players like Trent there as well. But Trent obviously didn't have a great year.
No,
especially this back.
That's the issue with the Liverpool players, isn't it? Like Alisson, like Trent, and maybe we'll get onto it later with Van Dijk. That they just had such a poor start to the year. And if it were team of the season, and if we would have done this, like say in May or something, when the Premier League had just finished, then of course, let's put Trent, Van Dijk, shoe-ins. But then Team of the Year, if we're looking just at calendar year of 2022, Trent's second half was dreadful.
Abysmal, let's go to the center back?
Let's move into the center back. So who are your two starting center backs?
So I've gone with Virgil van Dijk and Eden Militao.
Okay, so we have Militao, I have him, and I've gone with El General Nicolas Otamendi next to him.
I kind of felt, I feel like I knew that was coming,
Yeah, I just, did he have the most impressive year? No. But if we look at just what's been going on from summer up until now, so he's captaining Benfica to top of the table.
And the Champions League run.
top of the Champions League group, a group that had PSG and Juventus, and he's starting almost every single game. Still a high progressive passer, as we saw for Argentina, a lot of long balls. And at the World Cup, like, I think a lot of people thought, like, oh, there's no way this guy should start. Like, with Lisandro's form, with Romero being a mainstay at Tottenham, like, Otamendi is done. And he's the only center back that started every single game, and he was huge for Argentina.
Yeah, I mean, for my picks, I thought, Virgil van Dijk, I couldn't not put him in there. I think is a good way to put it, because he's injured now. He's this season. You can look at every single Liverpool player and be like, it's not.
They've all fallen off, really. Alisson's maybe the only one that's played well, but even he's had these blunders, that you're just like not really. You wouldn't expect him to make.
Exactly. So, Virgil van Dijk, he played really well in all the qualifying games for the Netherlands, Nations League as well. Mm-hmm. Played well. Didn't really do anything wrong at the World Cup. No. Leading up previous season at Liverpool, he was great as well. Yeah. And I think still the best sort of centre back in the world. It would be interesting to see how he's going to be when he comes back from injury. But yeah, the second spot, which I've gone with Eder Militao, I like to try and find alternatives to sort of what everyone's saying, essentially, because everyone was saying, Eder Militao should be in there. And after I looked at stats, I was considering Marquinhos for that position. Yep. I even looked at Thiago Silva because
he's been Chelsea's best player for ever since he's joined. You could argue.
He's been great. But Militao's stats, and when I looked up a few videos of his defending over the last year, he was just the clear choice. I mean, 1.57 tackles per game, which is, if you're a centre back in a good team like Real Madrid, you actually don't rack up that many tackles. And that's sort of shown by Virgil van Dijk. He only gets 0.54 tackles per game.
Because you assume Fabinho's sweeping up or the fullbacks or whatnot.
Yeah, but in the highlights that I saw of Militao, he does a really good job of coming out of the line and grabbing the ball, anticipating who's going to receive the ball and immediately getting in a really clean challenge. That's why I put him in there, because of his stats and because of what Real Madrid won last season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can't really say much else about Militao. I also have him in. I think that he's really proven his value specifically. I think when he came to Real Madrid, a lot of people were a little confused as to, like, is he going to play CDM? Is he going to play right back? Is he going to play center back? I think his first season there, a lot of people didn't like him because he made a lot of mistakes and stuff, but it's quite a steep jump from Porto to starting at Real Madrid, and he's showing it. I think, like, Alaba probably could have also been with a shout. Rudiger had a really strong season for Chelsea before continuing with Real Madrid, but Militao has been better than all of them, in my opinion.
Exactly.
So you have to give it to him. And then your left back, the last spot in defense.
Left back, I've gone with the former Manchester City player, João Cancelo. And for me, a lot of what decided this for me was actually having seen him play a lot last year, and he's just so phenomenal on the ball for a left back. It's crazy. His crosses, his dribbling.
He's like a center mid, really. That plays at left back. Isn't he?
Just an incredible player to watch, and just a really influential part of the Manchester City team, and he will be missed.
He will definitely be missed. I have no idea what Pep is cooking, but it better taste like gold, because like losing Cancelo a day before the transfer deadline is quite suspicious. But let me move on to my left back. Maybe City's new left back. Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. He was just huge down that left side. He, last year was the first year I started watching Serie A kind of again because of how exciting it was with Milan winning and whatnot. And just when you watch AC Milan play, he controls the whole left side of the pitch, and he's just so good going forward. Very strong at the back, also defensively. Maybe he wasn't meant to start the World Cup, but because it seems apparently Deschamps didn't like the fact that Theo is so sort of attack focused.
Very defensive manager.
And then when Lucas went down, his brother Theo had to play, and I think that was kind of a blessing in disguise, because Theo Hernandez was really, really good the whole World Cup up until against Argentina. But then again, like, other than Mbappe, we talked about it, who really was good against Argentina in that final. But I think Teo Hernandez was huge. 10 goal involvements from left back is ridiculous as well. And yeah, he won Milan another title, another World Cup. Got to a World Cup final. No, for the first time. I don't think he was there the first one. So congrats to him. I think he deserves it. But Cancelo is also probably would be my number 2 pick. And then midfield. So we have exactly the same remaining 6 players.
Yeah, sorry, it's going to be a little boring from here on out. But I do think that these positions, especially the front 3, are just, if you have anyone else, then you probably don't know anything.
You didn't watch football or follow our podcast.
But let's start with the midfield. Also 3 picks that I think kind of picked themselves in a way.
There could have been a few maybe there. I think there's 2 that are cemented fully. I think that's Modric and that's Kevin De Bruyne, in my opinion.
For sure.
I think Modric, huge at the World Cup again. I thought Croatia were going to be really quite bad because of the lag, how old they were. And they made it all the way to the semifinal. Again, like, say what you will, penalties, extra time, whatever. They still made it. And Modric was huge in every single game. For Real Madrid again, like, even though he's 37, 38, he's still starting almost every game.
I mean, it's just
such a good player for them.
Whenever you watch Real Madrid or Croatia play, he's so integral to everything that they do. He runs the midfield still at his age is just ridiculous.
He like, I think his Ballon d'Or will always be looked at like, oh, no way he won a Ballon d'Or. But I feel like every year after that, he's actually proven that he's a Ballon d'Or worthy kind of player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with De Bruyne, I'd say the same. I mean, he came 3rd in the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, I mean, De Bruyne, this is an absolutely no-brainer for me. I think, one of the best centre mids of all time.
Of course, in that floating 8 role, he's not like a conventional, but whatever position he plays, maybe the best of all time.
And I think, he's also one of those players that when you watch him play, you see the passes that he does, the cross-field balls, the crosses.
It just comes so easy.
It's just ridiculous to watch. It really is.
And without him, like last season, City were, we won the league title again. We came down to the last game again. But I think compared to Liverpool, I think everybody was kind of putting the chips on, Liverpool's got this title. Like, they're a better team than City. They look better, whatever. And because City, we don't have a striker. And De Bruyne just picked up the goal-scoring form for everybody else. He, I think, had his most productive season in front of goal. I remember one game he scored 4 against Wolves. It was right after we also announced Haaland. He scored 4, and I remember he went and did like this, the Haaland celebration after the hat trick. Without him, we don't win the league. It's as simple as that. Like, none of our players were going to score many goals because we didn't have an out-and-out striker. But De Bruyne was like, whatever. I'll just score 10+ from midfield. And it's fine. Like, he was so big. And at the start of the season with Haaland, he's on 13 assists or something already? Like, he's going to smash the Premier League assist record this year.
Yeah. And then should we move to the last spot? I think this is the only spot that there could be some sort of leeway on, that you might have someone else in there. And we've both gone with Fede Valverde.
Yeah. Real Madrid's.
Yeah, I think I'm going to highlight some other people that I considered for this one. Pedri, Gavi, both in with a shout. I didn't really consider Bellingham. I
don't think Dortmund did enough on the year. Exactly. He was huge and great, and at the World Cup he was amazing. But I don't think that the club form and the club success was enough. Because at the end of the day, of course it matters who the best player is, but then your team has to be successful. Yeah, you have to at least win the league or something.
Dortmund just aren't a good team at the moment. So Valverde played in that Real Madrid team, and it's actually kind of weird that you do put him in centre mid, but that guy plays everywhere.
Wing, right back.
The other day against Atletico, he was just playing wherever he felt like he needed to be.
We were watching the game, we were like, oh, okay, it said he was starting at right wing, which is already weird. Yeah. And then he was everywhere but right wing. He started off the year. He finished the year off really strong. Champions League final assist, where he made that crazy run, whipped it across to Vinny Jr., who finished it. Maybe Rodrigo. No, I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. Finished the year off strong. Started the new season La Liga Player of the Month. That's huge. The only reason why maybe somebody like Pedri could get in is because Valverde's World Cup was awful. I think that everybody thought Uruguay would have a better World Cup.
Oh, did we though?
I don't know. It just seemed like they had a bit of a dark horse tag around them, and it didn't work out at all. But yeah, I think the midfield three, like other than Valverde, but even Valverde is set. Like he was great. And then the front three.
I mean, this is pretty easy. Striker, I've got Ronaldo.
Left wing, Anderson Talisca. Yeah. Right wing, Vincent Abubakar. The Al Nassr boys are back.
Al Nassr boys are back. No, this is very easy. It's Mbappe left wing.
Yep.
It's Benzema striker.
Yep.
And it is the greatest of all time. It is Leo Messi at right wing.
It couldn't really be any other three, right? I mean... Mbappe and Messi, the World Cup, won the league. Messi didn't have a very good season, but then started off hot.
This season he has been incredible.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Mbappe also ridiculous. I think he scored the most goals in the calendar year. I think it got up to 50 something, maybe 60 something. Huge at the World Cup. Same with Messi. Of course, Messi won the World Cup, so that probably means another Ballon d'Or next year.
If he keeps playing the way that he does now, I think it should be Ballon d'Or number 8.
8.
Yeah.
8. And then Benzema, speaking of Ballon d'Or, you can't keep out the Ballon d'Or winner.
Keep out the Ballon d'Or
and
winner.
Sure, has he been as good as he was last season?
No, but he was so good last season.
Yeah, and he's also not been bad. I think he's almost at 10 La Liga goals, and he's missed a couple games with injury.
He
missed the World Cup. Who knows? If Benzema's playing that World Cup final, our France 2 times champions. We don't know because he didn't play.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be in this team.
No, I think, these front three, there's really no arguments. And if you do have an argument, then, you're just irrelevant.
Maybe,
right?
Maybe your opinion belongs at Al Nassr. All the Ronnie disses.
Yeah, exactly. But that is
that has been our team of the year. Yeah. We hope that you agree with it all, which I'm sure you will, because it was.
If you have any ball knowledge.
Yeah, you. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Keep checking us out. Subscribe, share with your friends. Comment your team of the year down below if we made any mistakes, and we'll see you guys next time.